You're listening to a BGE podcast.
Friends and family gather round and fire up the barbecue. Let the smoke waft and float, that's what we're gonna do. You can't deny there's nothing like friends and family and food. Don't sit still, pull out your grill, we're gonna have a barbecue.
Who you calling fatty? You know, it's funny. My wife working at the Pits and Grills store, when she first started, she had a Pits and Grills t-shirt, and on the back was the fatty recipe. Oh, she couldn't stand wearing that shirt.
Cause if you're looking, you ain't cooking. Fire up the barbecue. Fire up the barbecue.
That's right, folks. Today we're talking fatty recipe, and it's going to be great. We're going to throw in a little bonus with some jalapeno poppers as well. But yeah, man, this fatty recipe. Well, hey, you know what? Game days are coming up. We've got some college ball that is starting up. We've got some NFL football. The preseason's going on. And folks are going to be gearing up for some game day parties. They're going to be looking for some appetizers, some finger foods. And hey, this is something, I'll tell you what, you could practice on. You could make it for breakfast. You could have it for lunch, for supper. It doesn't matter. These things are good. And the reason I'm kind of pairing it with the jalapeno poppers today is because it's almost like an inside-out jalapeno popper. But yeah, we'll definitely get to that in just a few minutes. Again, appreciate everybody tuning in, listening to the program. Shoot us an email, info@blindgrilling.com. We're continuing to grow. It is awesome. You guys are awesome. You're making it happen. I appreciate everybody who shares out the program to all your friends as well. We are posting these on, they do go to our YouTube channel and on YouTube podcast, as well as every other podcast app out there. And of course, you can just ask your smart device, right? Just say, hey, play the Blind Grilling Experience, whether it's on Spotify, iHeartRadio, if you got an Apple device, Apple, if you got, a Google device, the Google podcast app, whatever it is, right? Spreaker, Podcaster, whatever, whatever it is, we're on there, right? And so you can listen to us, and we appreciate everybody who does and who shares it out as well. I'm sure everybody is dealing with the heat wave that has hit. I mean, we've been over 100 degrees now. And of course, I know Texas had been dealing with this for a long time, and they had a little bit of a break towards the end of last week. I talked to a few folks down there, and they finally got under 100. I think one guy I talked to said, like, at 11 o'clock at night, it was 98 degrees. And oh, y'all can have it. Oh man, this is crazy heat that we are going through. But hopefully we'll get through a few more days of it, and it'll start cooling off again. We're in a crazy weather pattern. There's no doubt about it. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. There is this forecaster and this weather guru, I guess you'd call him, on YouTube, Ryan Hall Y'all. He's from Eastern Kentucky and does a phenomenal job. And I love following and listening and watching the YouTube channel whenever there are severe storms or something. They've got storm chasers that are out, and they keep track of all the storms and keep you informed. He does forecasts that look not only to the week, but he's kind of looked at and did a few that talk about what he's expecting for the winter. The only unfortunate thing is occasionally they'll talk about, they'll say something to the effect that you see this section of the country in this color, and I have no idea what section of the country it's in, unfortunately. But usually he describes things well enough where I get an idea of what area he's talking about. which is pretty good. And he's really good at what he does. He really is. He's easy to listen to, and he is as accurate as any forecaster that I've ever heard. I know a lot of folks say, well, that's not saying much, but he's good. He's really good, and especially when they have the storm chasing going on. Ryan Hall, y'all, I just think it's cool. I like what he does, and it's a really great YouTube channel that he's got. If you're interested in weather and keeping up, maybe you got folks that live in different areas, check it out. I think you guys would like it for sure. We've talked about last week. We talked about the Wagyu beef as opposed to other U.S. grown or raised beef. Appreciate everybody who responded to that, and they like the information. They appreciate that, so that's awesome. No, we did not put out a Wednesday episode last week, but we do have another Wednesday episode planned. We're going to spread them out a little bit more, but I do have another Wednesday episode planned, and hopefully I'll get it out it'll either be this week or next. We're going to spread those out a little bit more, and then, of course, we'll keep our Monday and Friday uploads going. But, it's been busy. I'm not only doing the podcast here for Blind Grilling, but I've got other things going on. I do live streams for the church that I work for on Thursday mornings, something called Berean Spirits, where me and a couple other preachers get on and we talk. I've got a Facebook or a YouTube channel, rather, that is Gospel Preaching with Chris Peltz. And so I post sermons and live streams on there as well. So I'm pretty invested when it comes to the social media things, and not just in Blind Grilling, but this is a passion of mine for sure. I love doing it, and I appreciate everybody who tunes in and listens. If you want to check out other things that I'm doing, those would be some of the things that you can check out over on YouTube. You could, I think, on a podcast, if it's just podcasts that you're interested in, search for Berean Spirits, and that would probably come up also. And so you could find some of those programs that I do there, which are usually just live streams that we upload as a podcast later. But let's get to some of the food products that we're going to be talking about today. And the really one of the biggest differences that you're going to find in these two recipes, the jalapeno poppers and the fatty rolls recipe, is the temperature you want to cook them at. Generally, when I do jalapeno poppers, I'm doing those at about 350 to 400 degrees because I usually wrap them in bacon, and I want to make sure the bacon gets plenty done and crisp, and know that they're done at that point. And then they cook a little bit better at a higher temp, around 350 to 400 degrees. Whereas the sausage fatty is cooked at about 300 degrees. And for sure indirect. Sometimes with the jalapeno poppers, I still do those indirect just because of all the drippings with the fat from the bacon to maintain the flare-ups. I'll still do indirect. You could do them direct if you wanted to, but definitely with the sausage fatties, we're doing those indirect at 300 degrees for sure. So a little bit of a difference as far as the heat, the temperature that we're going to be cooking them at. But other than that, it's kind of interesting, the similarities, with the exception of adding a meat to the jalapeno poppers as opposed to the sausage being the meat for the rolls, the fatties. Other than that, they're just so close together, and they're just awesome, especially when it comes to, slicing them up and serving them to friends as appetizers or as finger foods, or as just something to kind of munch on when you're, watching a game or playing some games. Maybe you got a game night at your house and playing some cards or something like that. They just really make for a good, a good food, a good appetizer, especially. And so that's what we're going to be talking about. Of course, you could do it in the morning. A lot of folks we talk to that make these sausage fatties will make them in the mornings. They get up and they'll cook them, and it takes about an hour, but they love cooking breakfast and putting breakfast out on the smoker, and you can do it in your oven. That's no big deal. You can cook these in your oven as well. But definitely the recommendation would be to have a meat probe so that you can keep track of the internal temp when it comes to the sausage fatties, for sure. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to want to start off with a jalapeno and a pound of breakfast sausage. So get your favorite breakfast sausage, get a pound of that out, and make sure that it is ready. You got your jalapeno, half of an onion, and you're going to want 3/4 cup of some type of shredded cheese. Provel is one that is often used. You could use pepper jack, Colby jack, Monterey jack. You could use cheddar. You could use some other cheeses, but Provel works really well. The Provel cheese, around here, it's pretty common. I don't know if it's something that some folks have difficulty finding in other places. That is really a cheese. If I'm not mistaken, it's something that that's what they. If you talk about a St. Louis style pizza, that's one of the main. That's the cheese that they're going to be using on a St. Louis style pizza. But the Provel cheese is just awesome. It really works well. You're going to want your favorite barbecue rub and a good sweet barbecue sauce as well. And that's the ingredients for the sausage fatty. And, again, they've got a little bit of play. I've talked about this in past podcasts. A lot of these recipes are things that you can make some adjustments and really make them your own, whether it's your favorite rub or your favorite barbecue sauce or what type of cheese that you might like or what you find available. And also with the jalapenos here, if you took that jalapeno and you really like the heat, you want to make these pretty spicy, just leave the seeds in there. Don't seed the jalapenos before you chop them up. And that'll really add an extra bit of kick to these sausage fatties. But man, they're just good. They really are, a favorite for a lot of folks, no doubt about it. And they're real simple to make. That's another great thing. Whether you're doing it out on a smoker or even if you're going to do it in your oven inside the house, they're really simple to do. You're just going to roll out that pound of breakfast sausage, fairly thin. Roll it out into a big, long square as thin as you can get it. And you're going to take and chop up your half of a nice sweet yellow onion and a whole jalapeno. Get those nice and chopped up pretty fine. You're going to season your sausage with your favorite rub, kind of a sweet and savory rub is always good. Spread that out all over that sausage fatty once you get it rolled out. And then you're going to top it with that onion and jalapeno and your cheese, that shredded cheese of your choice. And you're going to take and you're going to roll that up like a sushi roll, right? So you're going to just take and start rolling it all up together. Once you get it rolled up, hit it the outside of it with a little bit more seasoning, and you're going to put it, we're going to say a smoker. You can do it in your oven, 300 degrees indirect with a meat probe in it. And it'll take probably about 40 minutes, but you're going to bring that internal temp up to about 160 degrees. You're going to take it off. You're going to put some sauce to it, slather it with some of your favorite sweet sauce. You're going to put it back on the smoker or in the oven and let it come up to a final temp of 165 degrees internal temp. So not much longer, maybe another 5 minutes or so, really letting that sauce set. Take it out. And you're ready to slice this thing up and serve. Man, it's good. It's as simple as that. That's the great thing about it. It's just so simple. It's awesome. In fact, the jalapeno poppers, while you can do those in a very simple and easy way, you can really get complicated and really, technical with some of the things you do with the jalapeno poppers. And you can with these sausage fatties as well. Again, you can kind of combine different cheeses. You can add, you could probably add a little bit of cream cheese to it if you wanted to. Again, you could spice it up either with your rub or by leaving the seeds in the jalapeno when you get it all chopped up and thrown in there. It's one of those things, once those flavors are all together and melt together inside that roll of sausage, man, whew, folks will be wanting more. Folks will definitely be wanting more, no doubt about it. So with that said, let's talk a little bit about the let's talk a little bit about the jalapeno poppers as well. In fact, we'll get to that in just a minute. Hey folks, you like the Kick-Ash basket products? You like us talking about that, or maybe you don't. Maybe you don't like the commercials, but that's all right too. But I got to tell you, the Kick-Ash basket has made grilling so much better in our grills, and our Big Green Egg and other grills and friends that have the Kick-Ash basket to manage their charcoal, increase their airflow for their charcoal grills. And that Kick-Ash can to catch all those ashes underneath makes for such an easy clean out. Folks, I just can't imagine cooking on the Big Green Egg or any other grill without the Kick-Ash basket system of the charcoal management basket and the Kick-Ash can combination. It's amazing. And of course, they got all kinds of other accessories, from great lifters to the J.J. George grill torch. They've got rubs and seasonings and all kinds of things. Check out our link in the description of this podcast, or just simply go to kickashbasket.com and tell them Blind Grilling sent you. So let's get to the jalapeno poppers now, because these are things that usually just go really fast when it comes to whether it's appetizers or just kind of getting ready to watch a game, get a platter brought out of these jalapeno poppers. And there's some really cool ways you can do this. They have these stands that you can buy, and if they hold the jalapenos in a certain way, and they basically hold them upright. And in fact, there's actually several different. There's even a cast iron holder for if you have them laid down on their side, kind of like little boats, which most people I think of probably think of when you think about jalapeno poppers. But there's also a stand that holds them upright, and so for that, what you would do is you would cut off the stem end of the jalapeno, and you would dig out all of the seeds and get all of that out. And if you wanted to keep that, for some added heat, or you can discard it. That's up to you. If you keep it, you're going to add it to your cheese mixture and, to spice that up. And if you don't, of course, the jalapeno will have a little, good flavor and good kick to it as it is. But you can take and hollow out several jalapenos that way. Now, you could have some grilled chicken, you could have some brisket, you could have some leftover steak you can chop it up pretty fine. And you're going to take some cream cheese, like a block of cream cheese, and an 8-ounce block of your favorite, whether it's cheddar, white cheddar, pepper jack, especially if you like the kick. And you're going to mix all of that together. And this is when you would add those seeds if you want that extra kick from the jalapeno into your cream cheese and your other cheese mixed up all together. And you're going to take that, some of the meat. You can add it to the cheese and mix it together, or you can just kind of shove a little bit of cheese, a little bit of meat, a little bit of cheese, down inside that jalapeno. And then you can wrap it in bacon. That's an option. It's probably the best option. And then they can go in those little stands that hold them upright so that you can throw them on your smoker or your grill. Most of what we do is we actually will cut the stem off, but we will slice them long ways, or we'll make a slit from the wide end towards the narrow end, and will enough to get our finger in there, dig out all the seeds, and to be able to stuff that jalapeno. And with the slit that you cut out to get to the seeds, if you wanted to discard the seed, that's fine. But the little piece that you cut out, right, the kind of the length of the and maybe a little less than a pencil width, and the length of the jalapeno, you take and chop that up, add that to your cheese mixture as well, into your cream cheese and whatever other cheese you want to add to it, and get that all mixed up. And then, of course, whatever type of meat you want to add. And then you're going to shove it into that jalapeno and wrap it in bacon, and it's ready to put on the grill. I mean, you can hit with a little bit of seasoning on the outside of that bacon if you want. You know us, we're always spraying some duck fat and hitting some, with some good barbecue rub on there. And we're going to throw them on the smoker at 350 degrees, anywhere between 350, 400 degrees. And probably for about 20 minutes, that bacon will get done. That cheese will be all nice and melted. You'll be able to pull them bad boys off, and they are ready to serve. And man, are they so good. And what's awesome is, if you had, let's say you grilled some chicken and you used some type of Mexican seasoning, a fajita seasoning, or, something along those lines, some kind of Tex-Mex flavors with that chicken, and you chop it up, it's just going to add more flavor into those jalapeno poppers. You can do breakfast sausage. You could mix that into your cheese mixture if you wanted to, which is why we talked about it being almost like the sausage fatty almost being like an inside-out jalapeno popper, where the sausage is on the inside of the jalapeno popper as opposed to the jalapenos on the inside when it comes to the sausage fatty. But either way, you can't go wrong, right? And the flavors, they're going to be a little bit different. We usually don't hit the jalapeno poppers with the sauce like we do with the sausage fatties, but you certainly could, to add a little bit of sweetness to it if you wanted to. Very quickly, that sausage fatty recipe is on Pits and Grill's website, pitsingrills.com, P-I-T-S, the letter N, grills.com. They have that recipe on their website. And like I mentioned, when my wife first started working there, before she got some of the shirts that they use for their work shirts, she just had a Pits and Grill shirt. You can buy a Pits and Grill shirt, but on the back is the fatty recipe. And she couldn't stand wearing that shirt. It was so funny because just right on the back of that shirt that she's wearing, it just says fatty. She didn't like that too much, but it was great. They're great shirts, which you can order on their website. And the shirts have the recipe right there on the back of the shirt, which is awesome. So it's definitely not a Blind Grilling original. This is something Nick put together over at Pits and Grills. And anybody who wears his shirt is sharing his recipe. So I was like, you know what? That's something worth sharing right here on the podcast for sure, especially with all the games everybody's got coming up. This could be something, maybe you're going to be tailgating, right? Maybe you got some high school football action going to be happening on Friday nights. This would be a good option, right? To take out there and tailgate a little bit before the game and serve up some sausage fatties to folks walking by and good eats before the game. It definitely would be something that I think you guys would love. And of course the jalapeno poppers as well, because these things can be done on portable grills, no problem. You can do them on anything from the pellet grills to the ceramic grills to gas grills to inside in the oven. It all holds true. However you're going to be cooking it, it all holds true. And these are some of my favorites when it comes to the appetizers, right? For game night, for game day, whatever it is, they work. They're awesome. And you'll be one of them backyard heroes, no doubt about it. Folks, shoot us an email, info@blindgrilling.com. Of course, you can go to our website. We will we're trying to keep that updated. It's been a little bit difficult. There's been a lot going on. We've been so busy, but anyway, we're working on getting some things to put up on the website. We'll be working on that continually. We want to once again welcome everybody who listens out on the Audio Information Network of Colorado. We appreciate all y'all out there. And of course, on Mind's Eye Radio in the greater St. Louis area as well. We appreciate everybody tuning in and listening to us there. And of course, you can go to our website, blindgrilling.com as well.
Friends and family gather round and fire up the barbecue.
All right, folks, that's it for today. Again, we love hearing from you. You got some questions for us? You get, I think we've got some questions come in we need to answer when it comes to trimming brisket, something we've hit on, but not as much in detail. But we're going to talk about that in a couple episodes coming up in the future as well. Until next time, folks, remember, if you're looking, you ain't cooking.
Keeps turning, don't worry what you gotta do. 'Cause if you're looking, you ain't cooking. Fire up the barbecue. Fire up the barbecue.